Ohio has fully lifted its curfew. See how people in Athens are reacting. COVID-19 vaccinations are underway in Athens. See what this means for residents. And in sports, women's volleyball faces Buffalo today for the second time in a doubleheader. Newswatch starts right now. Good evening, I'm Delaney Ruth, and welcome to Newswatch, your source for news impacting southeastern Ohio. Court Street may not be empty after 11 p.m. come this weekend. Ohio Governor Mike DeWine announced yesterday that the state would be lifting the curfew restriction on bars and restaurants, which had been in place since mid-November to curb the spread of COVID-19. Ohio University students were already lining the street late this afternoon to get into their favorite establishments, which are now able to serve until their normal closing times. Local bars were tweeting out specials and announcing their updated hours. 2 weeks ago, the curfew was rolled back from 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. DeWine said that yesterday's end of the curfew was because hospitalizations had dropped below 2,500 for 7 consecutive days. Without any specifications, he added that the curfew could be reinstated in the future.
We could be back in a situation where we have climbing cases. We certainly hope we don't do that, but we all can control this to some extent. And one way we can control is to continue to wear masks.
2 new bills were introduced in the Ohio House that would require people to wear masks in the Ohio State House. The Columbus Dispatch reports Ohio lawmakers are disagreeing over a mask mandate because the DeWine administration mandates don't apply to legislators because of separation of powers. Democratic Representative Bridget Kelly has introduced 2 bills to solve the problem. One will require masks at voting sessions, and the other proposes holding virtual hearings so the public can participate from home. This argument comes after Democratic Senator Cecil Thomas left a committee hearing last week. Senator Thomas was concerned about his family's health if he stayed in a room filled with unmasked people. Additionally, several legislators had contracted COVID, including 2 who were hospitalized. The mask requirement would include exceptions for children under 2 years old and people with medical restrictions. It would not include exceptions for people who previously contracted COVID-19 or those who have received the vaccine. Vaccinations are moving along in Athens County, even with global shortages of the shot. According to the Ohio Department of Health, as of Thursday, just over 9% of the county population has received at least 1 dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. City County Health Department Administrator Jack Pepper says vaccine uptake, the number of eligible recipients actually receiving the vaccine, has been promising, especially among individuals aged 70 and older. In Athens County, more than 6% of people 80 and older and 40% of people 70 and 79 have received at least the first shot. These numbers are both around 10% higher than the statewide averages. Pepper says he encourages anyone who is concerned about receiving the vaccine to call the health department with questions.
The way out of this pandemic for now is through vaccination. So, if people are really longing to go back to whatever the new normal is going to look like when this is all said and done, the vaccine at the moment is the way to arrive at better controlling this pandemic.
Ohio is still in phase 1B of vaccine distribution, meaning supply is limited to individuals above a certain age, individuals with certain health conditions, and K-12 educators. As a new way to keep Athens residents safe, Ohio University launched an initiative this week to encourage students to get their regular COVID-19 tests. Dr. Gillian Ice is the Special Assistant to the President for Public Health Operations. She says the program enters students who get their asymptomatic test into a drawing for weekly, monthly, and end of the semester prizes.
And we hope this helps incentivize students to participate in the testing, and also gives them an opportunity for basically a thank you from the university for helping to keep the community safe.
ICE says asymptomatic testing is critical to slowing the spread of COVID-19 and keeping campus open. On-campus students are required to get tested weekly, and off-campus students are required to get tested bi-weekly. An Ohio University professor's tenure remains under investigation following public backlash of a committee report. And later, the defense team in former President Donald Trump's impeachment trial spoke today. These stories and more when Newswatch returns.
How does chemistry become biology? I'm David Pogue. In this Nova miniseries, the blueprints of life, the molecules that make us. That's only half the amount of fats in my body.
Absolutely.
And the chemistry
Cell division.
we live for.
It's a really cool enzyme because it makes life on Earth possible.
Beyond the elements, life on Nova.
We just went back to Africa.
On Finding Your Roots, musician Pharrell Williams
I have to say I'm forever changed.
and actor-director Casey Lemons.
I feel very proud of my American heritage.
Slavery's impact
Turn the page.
impacts its
It's
descendants,
messing with everything that I represent.
plus a DNA match.
Ready to meet your cousin?
Yes.
Finding Your Roots.
I hate the myth of Hemingway. It obscures the man.
His talent is stunning.
He went against the grain.
It's hard to imagine a writer who hasn't been influenced by him.
In order to have something new to write, he had to have something new to live.
And he fell in love quite a few times. He's complex and deeply flawed, but there he is.
Hemingway, the man, is much more interesting than the myth.
Hemingway starts Monday, April 5th at 8/7 Central, only on PBS.
Next time on Antiques Roadshow Vintage Orlando Hour 2. We surprised a lot of folks in 2007, and you'll be surprised again.
That's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
You're kidding.
You're taking my breath away.
You seem surprised.
I'm stunned. I'm totally stunned.
Find out about stunning changes in value next time on Antiques Roadshow Vintage Orlando Hour 2.
The Ohio University Board of Trustees announced Tuesday they will look at all records in the case against Yusuf Kalyango, including a Faculty Senate Committee report the full Senate later voted to withdraw. Faculty Senate voted Monday night to withdraw that December committee report recommending the full reinstatement of the journalism professor who was found to have sexually harassed 2 women. The December report recommended Kalyango keep his tenure despite an Office of Equity and Civil Rights Compliance investigation that found evidence of the alleged sexual harassment. The Board of Trustees had already received the committee report at the time of Monday's vote. Some OU students have spent the week making their voices heard about this situation. Anna Azalian reports how students are reacting and how they're speaking out.
Olivia Jamero's reaction started with a tweet.
I was kind of reacting on that front and wanted to make sure that everybody saw the news since I know I have a pretty extensive platform.
Then, a petition. Jamero says petitions are a way for students to feel like they're doing something about the situation and to get a message to the Board of Trustees.
As like the greater group of students and personnel that you're supposed to represent, as upper administrators, you should probably listen to us.
Now her petition has more than 900 signatures, but she didn't stop here. She's been sharing her opinion not only on Twitter, but on an older type of message board. From this mural with the Survivor Advocacy Program's information to this message for the OU administration, students have been vocal in their support for survivors. The Women's Panhellenic Association President Maggie Old had a similar response.
So it kind of like sat uneasy with me. And then the old WPA president, Katie Ballinger, she's a senior at AOPI. She actually reached out to me and was like, you can do something about this.
So she did. Old created this petition that now has more than 1,300 signatures.
I knew that there were 900 Panhellenic women, even more women just in the student body in general, that would love their voice to be heard, and they can put their voice on this petition.
And the Student Senate Treasurer is running a letter writing campaign to the Board of Trustees.
You know, the more that their email dings, the more attention it gets.
These students are all working together and plan to continue sharing their petitions and their opinions with the Board of Trustees ahead of its decision. For WOUB, I'm Anna Azalian.
Also at the Student Senate meeting this week, the President, Vice President, and other officers shared that they're working with Graduate Student Senate on joint legislation to protect students. Nelsonville City Council is set to hold a public hearing next Friday following an investigation of one of its own council members. Councilmember Greg Smith is under investigation after claims surfaced that he was not a resident of Nelsonville, which Smith denies. The council was set to review and accept evidence regarding his residency status. Smith was also recently censured by Nelsonville City Council after a community activist Facebook page shared screenshots of offensive comments linked to him. The city of Nelsonville will stream the hearing at 7 p.m. on its Facebook page. Unconstitutional witch hunt. That's what Donald Trump's defense team is calling the impeachment trial of the former president. Still, the defense is spending the day arguing against the charge by Democrats that Trump incited an insurrection. Nadia Romero is in Washington to break down the trial.
It is constitutional cancel culture.
Former President Donald Trump's defense team coming out swinging.
It has become very clear that the House Democrats hate Donald Trump.
Arguing the Constitution is on Trump's side.
The article of impeachment now before the Senate is an unjust and blatantly unconstitutional act of political vengeance.
Lawyers say the then president's speech was protected under the First Amendment. Still, they say he promoted peace before the violence at the Capitol.
I know that everyone here will soon be marching over to the Capitol building to peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard.
The defense team accusing impeachment managers of using misleading video in order to argue Trump incited violence.
Words matter, they told you. But they selectively edited the president's words over and over again.
The defense also accuses Democrats of advocating for violence against Trump.
I will go and take Trump out tonight.
Trump's team confident they have the votes to acquit the former president, only taking a few hours to present their case. Despite the expected outcome, Democrats say the damage to Donald Trump is already done.
I think the power of their case will be a lasting testament that will do damage to President Trump, perhaps has done already significant damage to President Trump.
In Washington, I'm Nadia Romero.
Before the prosecutors even argued their case, many Republican senators are indicating they'll acquit the former president. 17 Republicans would have to join every Democrat to convict him. A Cincinnati dog with burns is training to be the new therapy dog in the Children's Burns Unit. That story is still ahead.
Hi, I'm forecaster Alyssa Lanier from the Newswatch Weather Center. Right now in Athens, we are seeing some chilly temperatures at 30 degrees. We are seeing some light winds from the northeast, and the temperatures will be chilly ahead. Will snow be in our future? I'll talk about that in my full forecast, but first, here's a look at stocks of local interest.
I hate the myth of Hemingway. It obscures the man.
His talent is stunning.
He went against the grain.
It's hard to imagine a writer who hasn't been influenced by him.
In order to have something new to write, he had to have something new to live.
And he fell in love quite a few times. He's complex and deeply flawed, but there he is.
Hemingway, the man, is much more interesting than the myth.
Hemingway starts Monday, April 5th at 8/7 Central, only on PBS.
Now, it's even easier to stay connected with WOUB Public Media. Receive the latest news, watch your favorite programs live or on demand, and listen to podcast or live radio everywhere you go using the WOUB Public Media app. And you'll get to carry me, WOUB radio announcer Robin Barnes, around with you all day. The app is available to download free on iOS and Android. Just search for WOUB.
How does chemistry become biology? I'm David Pogue. In this Nova miniseries, the blueprints of life, the molecules that make us.
That's only half the amount of fats in my body.
Absolutely.
And the chemistry
Cell division.
we live for.
It's a really cool enzyme because it makes life on Earth possible.
Beyond the elements, life on Nova.
Next time on Antiques Roadshow Vintage Orlando Hour 2. We surprised a lot of folks in 2007, and you'll be surprised again.
That's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
You're kidding.
You're taking my breath away.
You seem surprised.
I'm stunned. I'm totally stunned.
Find out about stunning changes in value next time on Antiques Roadshow Vintage Orlando Hour 2.
Hi, I'm forecaster Alyssa Lanier. Right now in Athens, it's 30 degrees. We are tracking a winter storm in the future. It will occur Sunday night. What is causing this winter storm to happen is there's cold air from the north coming in, and it will hit the Gulf of Mexico, which is going to cause a strong temperature gradient in between the warm waters of the Gulf of Mexico and over the land, which will be cooler. This temperature gradient, combined with a jet streak that is aloft, will cause a low pressure system to develop Sunday evening. Sunday evening, we will see temperatures drop and the snow will come in, and we will get a lot of snow Monday night. We are unsure of how much snow accumulation there will be, so to stay updated with the local weather, you should go to www.scalialab.com. They will have everything posted there. Next week, we will see temperatures in the 30s and lows in the 20s. It will drop from what we are seeing today. Right now, it will get a little bit cooler to 25, and we will see snow throughout the week. Back to you, Delaney.
Thanks, Alyssa. A dog with burn scars will soon train to be a therapy animal in children's burn units. He's doing well after dozens of medical procedures. Brad Underwood spoke about the dog's future, with two of the people helping him recover and inspire.
With his tongue out and ears up, Romy is feeling good. But that wasn't the case 5 months ago when he was brought to the Anderson Hills Animal Care Hospital.
What I saw from the photos of when he first came under our purview were one of the most shocking things I've ever seen.
We're not going to show you those photos, but you can tell today Romy still has some damage to his skin. He's also blind in his left eye. Despite that, and 50 medical procedures, the 7-month-old Lab Shepherd mix is doing well, considering what he's been through.
It looked like he had been burned, but we really couldn't determine what caused it. The owner was in denial. She denied that anything like that ever happened.
She is Romy's previous owner, now convicted of animal cruelty, on probation, and required to pay more than $15,000 in medical bills. As for Romy, he now lives in Cleveland, but comes back for treatment in Anderson. And soon, he will be the one providing comfort care to kids.
He's going to be a therapy dog for children in burn units, since he's obviously been in a burn unit himself. I think it's definitely something that kids will get really excited when they're going through something really tough.
Hamilton County Dog Warden Brandon Corcoran says most of this could have possibly been prevented. Romy was brought in 5 days after being injured.
It's sad when this happens to any animal. You know, we got to be the voice for them, speak up for them.
Romy has more procedures ahead to repair his tear ducts. Then he'll start his training therapy. Back to you, Alyssa.
I apologize for the technical difficulties. Right now in Athens, it is 30 degrees. The winds are from the north-northwest at 3 miles an hour. Hour by hour tonight at 8 p.m. it will be 30 degrees. Temperatures will slowly drop till midnight. There will be no precipitation tonight. In Athens tonight, the low will be 25 degrees. It will be chilly, so bundle up if you are going out and about, going wherever. In Athens, the low will be 25. In Ripley, it will be 28. In Marietta, 27. 27 in New Martinsville, all under mostly cloudy skies. Tomorrow morning, we are looking at overcast skies still. At 8 a.m., it will be 26. It will warm up slightly to noon at 31 degrees. So if you want to run errands tomorrow, I would do that in the morning because there is a chance of freezing rain after 1 p.m. Tomorrow in Athens, the high will be 34 degrees under overcast skies. Again, there is a chance of a freezing rain mix, and the winds will be from the north-northwest at 5 miles an hour. Tomorrow in Athens, the highs will be around 36 degrees across the region. For Valentine's Day, it will be chilly, so bundle up if you have any plans. We are under a winter storm watch under these counties, so if you're in Chillicothe, Columbus, or Newark, that means you will be seeing heavy snow, which could impact road conditions. This is what I was talking about earlier. This jet stream and a temperature gradient will cause a low pressure system to develop, which will bring us lots of snow. Looking at the week ahead, on Saturday, it will be 34 degrees with a 30% chance of freezing rain. Back to you, Joe.
Joe Collins for sports, and coming up, Ohio volleyball played the second match of their series against Buffalo today. Stay tuned for coverage of that game. And Ohio hockey gets ready to take on Adrian College at 7 p.m. All that and more coming up after the break. But first, here's a look at what's coming up tonight on your public television station.
We just went back to Africa.
On Finding Your Roots, musician Pharrell Williams.
I have to say I'm forever changed.
And actor-director Casey Lemons.
I feel very proud of my American heritage.
Slavery's impact.
Turn the page.
Impacts its descendants.
It's messing with everything that I represent.
Plus a DNA match.
Ready to meet your cousin? Yes.
Finding Your Roots.
Whether it is visionary Mexican rock, or Colombian vallenato, or symphonic Americana, it is all music of the Americas. I'm Gustavo Dudamel. Join me in concert at the Hollywood Bowl.
Next time on Jazz.
The swing era reminded Americans of what was unique about the country, of what a democracy was.
This is the thing I love the most about jazz. It's the thing that expresses the United States. It expresses freedom.
Dedicated to Chaos, next time on Part 7 of Jazz.
How does chemistry become biology? I'm David Pogue. In this Nova miniseries, the blueprints of life, the molecules that make us.
That's only half the amount of fats in my body.
Absolutely.
And the chemistry
Cell division.
we live for.
It's a really cool enzyme because it makes life on Earth possible.
Beyond the elements, life on Nova.
Welcome back, I'm Joe Collins. The Ohio volleyball team had game one of their two-match series against the Buffalo Bulls Thursday night at the Convocation Center in Athens. Ohio was able to sweep the Bulls in 3 sets. However, the score can be deceiving as the Bobcats would have to make comebacks in sets 2 and 3 in order to win the match. Ohio had 3 players with double-digit kills as Lauren Park led the way with 12, while Mariana Rodriguez and Caitlin O'Farrell each had 10. Vera Giacomatzi had 36 assists on the night as well. Coach Dean Webb talked about his team's resilience when being down.
would say it was certainly a streaky match. There were times I don't know that we were as focused as we needed to be and got ourselves into some pretty big holes, so we had to dig out of. That said, we showed a great deal of maturity, experience, and competitiveness to dig out of those holes.
Ohio just finished up their second match against the Bulls a few hours ago, and once again, it was a sweep for the Bobcats. The Bobcats set the tone in the first set, quickly jumping out to an 8-1 lead. They'd use that to take the first set 25-14. They would then take set 2 25-13 and close out with a 25-20 victory in set 3 for back-to-back sweeps of the Bulls. Lauren Park and Mariana Rodriguez were once again big factors, as both had over 10 kills in the match. Here, Jacques Amatzi hits it up in the air, and Lauren Park is going to spike it down hard and pick up the point. The Ohio Bobcats ice hockey team played the second game of their home and home series when they take on Adrian College at Bird Arena at 7 p.m. The Bobcats fell to the Bulldogs last night 8-4 in a wild game filled with many goals and penalties. The two teams combined for 21 power plays on the night, with the Bulldogs having 12 of them. Andrew Saka and Kyle Craddock were two Bobcats that were able to find the back of the net. Mad Server had 24 saves on 27 shots when he came in relief from Max Karlinzig during the second period. The Bobcats are 0-5 on the season, but they're a young team as they have only 2 seniors on the 20-man roster. The team will look to rebound tonight at 7 at Bird Arena and hopefully get their first victory of the season. Coming off of a 22-point win over Ball State, the Ohio women's basketball team will return home Saturday to take on Western Michigan at 1 p.m. at the Convo. The Bobcats will be playing their first home game in 10 days, last time beating Kent State 85-70. This will be the second time the Bobcats and Broncos have played this season. The first matchup was won by Ohio 69-63 in Kalamazoo. Cece Hooks, who passed 2,000 career points against Ball State, looks to continue her impressive performance this season and lead the Bobcats to their 10th conference victory. As the MAC tournament is less than a month away, the Bobcats, in theory, are 2 games out of first place, but COVID-19 has caused quite a mess in the MAC women's standings. At the top of the MAC is Bowling Green, who is 11-3 on the year. Right behind them is Kent State, who has only played 8 conference games. And third and fourth are Buffalo and Northern Illinois, who are both 11-3. The Bobcats are 9-5 and in 6th place, despite playing at least 3 more conference games than some of the other teams ahead of them. Only BG and Central Michigan have played 14 games as well. I'm Joe Collins, and that's it for sports. Back to you, Delaney.
Thanks, Joe. Say goodbye to the rat and welcome the year of the ox. Today marks the start of the Lunar New Year, but one thing not packed on the ox is economic prosperity. Normally, streets, airports, and train stations in China will be bustling as people travel to spend the holiday with loved ones. It's described as the equivalent of Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's Eve combined. Not this year. China's government is asking citizens to avoid any non-essential trips for the holiday. The same thing is happening in Chinese communities around the world. Restaurants and stores in the Asian communities of the U.S. usually make about 30% of their annual revenue during the celebration as people rent banquet halls, eat and exchange gifts, and fireworks shows. Dragon dances and other celebrations are canceled and happening virtually instead this year.
Taking a look at the final weather, again, these counties are under a winter storm watch, so they will expect heavy snow. And from Sunday, February 14th through the 16th. We are unsure of how much accumulation to expect right now, so again, check out www.scalliolab.com for an update on your local weather. Taking a look at the week ahead on Saturday, it will be 34 degrees. And then we will see mid-20s to upper 30s throughout the week with snow occurring until Friday morning. So be careful if you're going out and about. And back to you, Delaney.
Thanks, Alyssa. And that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. I'm Delaney Ruth. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. And remember, you can find the latest news anytime at woub.org. Have a great night.
to our littlest explorers.
Support comes from Dean Heating and Cooling. Stay warm this winter with energy-efficient Temp Star